Many families may feel heart disease is something that happens later on in life, but this Heart Month, we're sharing a story that reminds us it can happen anyone, even a healthy, high-performing teenager at the top of his game.
Chase Bachman shares one athlete's journey from a medical emergency that stunned doctors to a comeback that's inspiring his community.
On a winter night, Quinten Eisel looks like what he's always been, an athlete who lives for the game. He's one of the best players in his conference and a kid whose life has always revolved around sports. But a little more than a year ago, Quinten's season and his life nearly stopped altogether.
Sports were like the big thing for me. They always have been. So as a child, that was like the main part of my life.
December 15th, 2024. It was a Sunday afternoon, and Quinten was shopping with his cousin when something felt wrong.
And I went to move the car, and nothing on the right side of my body worked. So I immediately freaked out.
At just 17 years old, doctors discovered Quinten had suffered not one, but two strokes at the same time in different parts of his brain. Something so rare, it didn't make sense.
It was scary because like the doctors explained it to me like this is very, very uncommon. And like I could barely move like my limbs, and I was scared because like I didn't know if that would come back.
For his parents, Katie and Lance, it felt impossible to process.
I was thinking, my goodness, this doesn't seem right, but I think my 17-year-old is having a stroke. I mean, I'll never forget that when they came in and told us that he had had two strokes. It was crazy to us.
The answers didn't come right away. Doctors eventually discovered a congenital heart defect, a hole in his heart.
Almost instantly, we were wondering, why did this happen, and is it going to happen again?
But then, something remarkable.
I really started feeling normal within 4 days to a week. The strength was back within like 2 weeks, and everything was perfectly fine within 2 weeks.
Against all odds, Quinten recovered quickly, and almost immediately, his mind went to one place.
One of the main things on his mind was, will I ever be able to play sports again?
The answer was yes. A month later, Quinten was back on the basketball court.
The minute they put him in, I mean, it was like, oh my goodness, he's back.
Then came football. After heart surgery in June, blood thinners, restrictions, and a decision no parent ever takes lightly.
As a mom, that was really, really hard, but he does a really good job of convincing me that he's fine. And then faith. Faith is huge in our family.
Quinten didn't just return. He thrived, helping Evergreen to one of the best seasons in program history. Now in basketball season, he's doing it again and appreciating every single second.
It makes me take things less for granted. I realize I just got to make the best of what circumstances I have, and I just do what I can. I look at life more meaningful than I did before. It made me realize how blessed I am.
For his parents, the stats don't matter.
He's just a great kid. He really is. He's compassionate. He cares about others. That, for us as parents, that's a home run touchdown in our books.
A teenager who's already faced more than most ever will, still chasing the game he loves with gratitude, perspective, and a lot of heart.
Great story, Chase. Well done.
Very inspiring. And like you said, like Chase said, you wouldn't imagine that it's these young athletes that it's happening to.
And this young man will grow up with a lot of wisdom because he's experienced something none of us would have, most of us don't happen in your teens, a very life-threatening situation that makes you get a reset like, wow. And he's recovered and he's doing well, and he'll always appreciate what he went through and his recovery. So
Very eye-opening.